Let's go! What time is it? Gator! It's gonna be a football game tonight now. No doubt. It's gonna be a football game here. Okay. I done been here before. All right, let's go, baby.
9. Rushing 4, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground, and it's still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line. Vaughn Miller did it again.
Alabama back on top of the college football world. Ladies and gentlemen, football to the max.
Your host, Sean Garmer, Gary Vaughn, and Randy Isbell.
Hello and welcome to another Football to the Max. And guys, it's time. It's finally here. Football matters. And we get to talk about it. Hooray!
Yes.
Hooray! And college football did not disappoint today.
No, it did not.
It's a breath of fresh air. It really is. It's so nice to actually get it here, sit down, actually talk about real games, not talk about things that could be or things that don't matter. These games matter, and so much great stuff coming up this weekend. Not just today, but this weekend as well.
Absolutely.
Well, and then we are coming to you the first time on video as well. So you get to see all of our faces.
I apologize.
So if you don't watch the wrestling podcast where, Gary and I are on and you get to see us, I am your host, Sean Garmer. Gary to my left and Randy to my right. And, of course, Randy with his Jets hat on. He's waiting for that season to start. But, guys...
Well, if you're watching the actual video, just to clarify, it's Rand. So I'm on the bottom, Sean's to the left, and Randy's to the right.
That's right. That's right. I apologize. I forgot that Gary's the one.
I have to run the video, so here we are.
So, yeah, as Randy mentioned, this Thursday night set of games was actually pretty damn good. The Louisville-Charlotte thing, that was a blowout as we would expect. That's your bigger team facing your smaller team. But Appalachian State, who had that big, they were able to beat Michigan back in 2007. So a lot of people were going, okay, well this Tennessee team they have coaches that were on that Michigan team back in 2007. They're not going to repeat this. Well, whoop-de-doo, we get to the halftime and that game is close. And it takes a lot of close calls in order for Tennessee to wind up winning that game, including a fumble that was recovered in the end zone that cost us the last touchdown for overtime. And even then, if Appalachian State would have made a field goal or even an extra point, they could have won this game. Amazing, amazing stuff. Tennessee gets a scare on their first one. What did you guys think?
Well, listen, what did you say, 2009 was that?
2007.
That App State, Michigan? 2007. It feels like yesterday. I remember watching that game. But still, that's, nearly a decade ago. You're looking at a team back then that wasn't part of, the FBS. It was Division II back then. It has since, because of that game and that success, has moved itself up to the big boys and continues to improve. It's no longer that, I can't believe you almost lost to Appalachian State. Appalachian State is a good team, and they showed it tonight. I struggled a little bit with some special teams, struggled to really capture that early lead that they got, but they showed that they could play with the big boys. They went to Tennessee and gave them one hell of a game, and Tennessee, yes, winning allows you to stay in that national championship hunt. But Joshua Dobbs, what are you doing, man? He did not look like any kind of Heisman candidate that I'm looking for. And yes, it is week one, and there's a lot of weeks after this that they can correct all of this. But this was not a wonderful opening act for the Volunteers.
Yeah, a couple of times there was guys in his face too, and he didn't know how to deal with it. And Gary, do you go that one play at the end where the quarterback just runs for it instead of trying to. I know he hasn't hit a field goal all night, whatever. But shouldn't you at least give him the shot to go for the 52-yarder? Or
You would think so. You would think so, but 52-yarder is a difficult task. It's not as easy as you would think, and I don't blame him for that aspect. I mean, a lot of college kickers, have a lot of trouble with 50-yarders. So I don't know, man. I think that the quarterback made the decision that he felt was best. But you're right. I mean, I could see where people could be, kind of concerned because, go with what you think could be almost a sure bet compared to what he did.
And anything that stood out to you, Gary, about the game?
You guys kind of said pretty much what we needed to say about it. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that, like Randy pointed out, not the same Appalachian State. And this is a new team, and it's stronger. They're bigger and better. And this tends to take place sometimes on opening weekend, where the teams that you think are just going to dominate, not always going to happen. I mean, the other team that they're facing, is a real team. They're not just out there, planning to lose. They're planning to win just as much as these other teams that are going to be favored. So not a big surprise that this is already happening.
Well, Randy, you watched the South Carolina and Vanderbilt game. South Carolina, to that point, had won 7 straight against Vanderbilt, and they almost didn't make it 8.
Yeah, this was your typical defensive struggle. If you like high-scoring games, you went to the wrong place here. Vanderbilt really jumped out a little early. I liked how they were looking, and then they made a weird change. Kyle Shermer was their quarterback. They go in and they score the touchdown. They go up 10-0 in the second quarter. They make the big stop against South Carolina, and they start the next drive with Wade Freebeck at quarterback, which made no sense to me. You had the momentum, and you just gave it up. Of course, he goes 3 and out. I think he played 2 drives the whole game. But I know they were trying to see what they had with Freebeck, if he was maybe the guy instead. But you're up 10-0 at home against a okay South Carolina team. That's not the time to mess around with the quarterback situation. It ends up costing them as South Carolina is able to come back and take the lead on a ridiculous 55-yard field goal by Elliott Fry. You talked about how App State doesn't go for the field goal late. So a huge field goal, 35 seconds to go, and he probably cleared that by a good 6 or 7 yards. So Elliott Fry might be one of those fantasy kickers you hear about in a few years as somebody that's on your fantasy teams. But all in all, a very defensive-laced battle, really, that came down to the end.
Gary, anything?
I didn't have a chance to get to check this game out, but man, it does sound, like it's once again another interesting game that I definitely want to follow.
So you also watched the Minnesota-Oregon State game, Randy?
I watched a bit of this game. Obviously, I missed chunks as the Tennessee and App State went to overtime. I had to switch over to that game. And then, of course, was watching South Carolina Vanderbilt a bit more. But I was impressed by Minnesota. Rodney Smith, I couldn't think of his name for a second, was running the ball extremely well. 25 carries, 125 yards, 2 touchdowns. But the key to me in this game was there's a strategy that I remember last year bringing up to you guys. I think it was even during college, where a team is up by 1 point. You score a touchdown late. In this case, I believe there was like a minute 20 left in the game. You score that touchdown, you go up by 7. I've always felt like at that point you go for 2. You go for 2. If you make it, you're up 9. The game's over. They're not going to score twice on you. If you don't make it, you're still up 7. And yes, the other team can come all the way back down and score, tie it to go to overtime, and in a way they could possibly go for 2 and try to win it there, but then they still have to decide to make that choice. I love the idea of going for 2 and just clinching it if you make it, and if not, they still have to do all this stuff. But just the chance to clinch the game right there, I absolutely love. I don't know how you feel about it, Gary.
I could see your point there because you want to take a hold and, hey, you're already there, but they're going to have to fight to get the, whatever 80 yards to get to the end zone and of course, still get the 2-point conversion. Looking at it through a coach's eyes, I think the coaches always want to look through it as, hey, what's the safest bet? What do I feel like is going to put my team in the most expected way to win this game, and I think that's going to lead to just kicking the extra point, getting the 8 points, and taking your chances. Either way, you're taking your chances, but the safest bet is to make sure at the end of the game you're going to overtime, and that's what coaches look at. But I get your point. It's very aggressive, and honestly, I would be in that mindset as well. But from a coach's standpoint, I don't think they're so willing to take those risks. They got jobs on the line. We don't.
Very true. Anything you want to mention about the Thursday slate before we move along here?
Yeah, I threw in our notes that Louisville clubbing of Charlotte. Not that the game was ever close or we ever thought it was going to be close. Just wanted to give the shout out to Lamar Jackson, who, yes, again, they were playing a nobody like Charlotte, but 8 total touchdowns for the guy, and I'm sure I haven't looked at all the stats. I'm sure he did not play the entire game. I did see some of the highlights, and it looked like he scored 4 or 5 of his first touchdowns in the first quarter. So just a huge performance by Lamar Jackson that I wanted to bring up.
Wow. That's just amazing to already have your first game. That's amazing. That's totally awesome.
That's a lot right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just looking at it, they wwere up 56-0 at half, and then it looks like they probably pulled everybody by then.
Yeah. Jeez.
Good Lord. Wow. That's amazing. So, what we're going to do here on this show is you'll see us go through our pick'em. We're in an ESPN.com pick'em league. Of course, the 3 of us and Paul that's from the Wrestling Podcast and a few other guys. And you, of course, are also welcome to join. It's called the W2M and F2F group. You can find it, and the password is wrestling. And you can go join if you'd like. It is a lock group, so you can't keep changing your if you create an entry and you decide to put that one in there, you can't go and put another one in there later that's better if you want a couple more games or whatever. So just let that be known. But we will go through the games that are on the pick'em. Those are the ones we're kind of going to break down more in depth, and then we'll kind of go rapid fire through some other games that are not on that pick'em. So, but the use of the pick'em covers some of the big games of the week, and that is nothing. That is no slouch here with some of the huge games that are happening this week. So let's go. Going to, what is this, Houston, Oklahoma, and the Houston Cougars. Who's going to suffer the upset on the first week of the season?
You guys know how much I love the Houston Cougars, and I'm not wearing red, obviously. They're not my favorite team or anything, but I just enjoy watching them. I think they're an up-and-coming team. We've talked about them getting into a bigger conference, and I think it's going to happen. But at the end of the day, I look at this game, and no matter how good they are and the potential they have, I just think they're going to have a difficult time beating Oklahoma. Not that it's going to be an onslaught. Oklahoma shouldn't walk away with this game. I just think that I have a hard time finding myself picking Houston to win this game because of OU's status and just the amount of talent that they have on that team. But still, it's going to be a good game, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's tough to just say Houston's going to get blown out here when you have a quarterback like Greg Ward Jr., who rushed for over 1,000 yards on top of the over 2,000 yards that he threw for. He's definitely a dual threat that is going to keep Houston in this game. But when you have Baker Mayfield under center, definitely a Heisman candidate. I like Oklahoma here. I have them as a 5 just because I think Houston could possibly pull that upset. They could stay in that game, and you just never know. It is a neutral site game, but obviously it's still in Houston, so it's basically a home game for Houston. So always a little iffy, especially that first game of the season as teams kind of find their balance. But I'm going to take Oklahoma.
Yeah, and just to let you know, I'm so nervous about this game in my pick. I've got them at a 1. I'm that scared. I could see Houston finding a way to make the upset happen.
I'm going to take the upset for Houston. I'm going to take it at the 1 confidence. So I don't lose too much if Houston loses, but man, I'm going to go for it and say Houston makes a big upset on that week 1. Oklahoma's gone
any
through this
reason why?
before. You know what?
Any reason why?
I think Houston's their defense can hang with them to kind of stifle Baker Mayfield a little bit, and I think Greg. If you get into a shootout, Greg Ward Jr. is the guy you want at your quarterback to be able to battle out with Mayfield. So, plus being in Houston, I don't think we should totally forget that like you said, it's almost a glorified home game. Not that it's that far for Oklahoma either, but
Yeah. And just if anybody cares, Oklahoma right now favored by 15. If I was going by spread, I would probably take Houston. I think it's going to be pretty close.
All right, so we go on from this to the Missouri Tigers taking on West Virginia. Who you got, guys?
Somebody.
I got Missouri.
How could you? You got Missouri?
I got Missouri, and it's probably not going to happen. But I got it at 3 points confidence level. I'm just going to say this. I just think that, Missouri has, struggled at times, in the past few years, but they also continue to have talent that surprise us. I think it's one of those games where Missouri is going to find a way to win it. Am I confident? Not really. It's only at a 3, but
Yeah, I don't know. Missouri has a new head coach, Barry Odom. West Virginia has a completely new offense. So both teams are complete wild cards for me. I don't know how it's going to be. The line is West Virginia -10, so I'm going to take that as it is. I have West Virginia winning this game, but only at a 4 because, once again, I have no idea.
I have West Virginia at a 6. I think West Virginia is going to do all right in this game and win. So we move on here to another big game. The SEC taking on the ACC, Georgia Bulldogs taking on the North Carolina Tar Heels. Where you got this one?
I liked North Carolina coming into this game. I'm higher on the Tar Heels than I think a lot of people are. However, Nick Chubb has been cleared to play. He's that star running back for the Bulldogs who got hurt last year. If he is 100% healthy and ready to go, I think that really helps Georgia a lot. I'm going to stick with North Carolina here. The game is being played at the Georgia Dome, so obviously basically a glorified home game for Georgia. But I'm going to take North Carolina in a squeaker, but I have them as a 1.
My confidence level is so low on this as well. I've got it at a 2. And I'm looking at this game, and I agree with Randy. The running back situation is definitely going to be an effect on this game. I'm a bigger North Carolina guy. I follow the Tar Heels pretty closely, but I just think that with Georgia kind of having more of the home field advantage, and for the fact that they've got a squad here that I think we can be a little bit more confident than we could in years past. I'm going with Georgia in this one.
I'm going to go with Georgia in this as well. The glorified home game there at the Georgia Dome, don't make a mistake about that. That's a big deal. And just, you do have the new quarterback, but he's kind of, the 4th-ranked QB in the SEC. I think he'll do all right here against North Carolina. But hopefully, and it should be a close game. You got Hawaii traveling to take on Michigan. And Hawaii also played in Australia last week. So, yeah, I'm going to say Michigan. Landslide. I think I might have this as my 10. Yes, I have it as my 10. Michigan.
Yes, I do too. I think that, this is going to be just a runaway game. I don't see a competition at all here.
I'm over here agreeing with everybody, and my microphone was on mute, so Nobody could hear me agreeing with you, Sean. But I'm over here nodding. This should be everybody's 10. Not even if Hawaii didn't just have to go all the way to Australia, and then now over here to Ann Arbor, Michigan, to play a far better team. I would take Michigan with a 10 in this matchup. But I just want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Obviously, there's no rules on having to give scrimmage tapes, especially week 1. Everyone just kind of goes in there blank. But Hawaii played last Friday, as some of us watched, as they lost to Cal. So Michigan has the tape on Hawaii. Hawaii asked Michigan for some scrimmage tapes, and they said no chance. A little foul play by the team that's just going to destroy Hawaii anyways, or
That
just
seems
gamesmanship?
like such a Jim Harbaugh thing.
Yes.
It does. I personally feel like it's not a fair situation, but saying that, you go into the season, you know the schedule already. Hawaii should have already had that request in play. They should have been ready for it. They knew they were going to play a game before they played against Michigan, and they weren't going to have any film on them. That was kind of on them, too.
Very true. Kind of crappy by Michigan. But like I said, Jim Harbaugh doing stuff like that doesn't surprise me at all.
Mm-hmm.
Rutgers, who were 4-8 last year, taking on the darlings of the Pac-12. Like a lot of people have Washington as the winners of the Pac-12. Washington.
Oh, yeah. They're not my darlings in the Pac-12, but I think they see what happened to Tennessee in a team that they should have beat far better than they did, and they're not going to let that happen to them. I'm going to take Washington big at home.
Yeah, I have them as my 9.
Yeah.
Yes.
Washington.
Yeah, and you have more confidence. Right now I have them my 7, surprisingly. But, I still believe they're going to dominate. I really do. I think that's going to be a pretty sad performance for Rutgers because I think Washington's going to take care of business.
LSU, number 5 ranked team in the nation, taking on the Wisconsin Badgers.
How about the first college game ever played at Lambeau Field? How exciting is that?
How amazing is that? That's pretty cool. Brandon Harris, of course, playing QB for the LSU.
I like Harris. I love Fournette. LSU is my pick to not only win the SEC, but win the national championship. So it has to start somewhere. I have LSU with a 6 confidence on the road.
I'm right there with you on the confidence level. I got a 6, and I'm agreeing with you on the pick, too. LSU, I think they're going to be okay. I think Wisconsin can give them some trouble. I don't think that's not going to be a deal because not only they kind of have the home field advantage. Once again, does that matter? I don't know. I think with a team like LSU, it's not going to matter as much, but it will be closer than people expect, I think.
Yeah, certainly. I agree with you guys. I have it as my 8 confidence, actually. Believe in LSU that much, and I think they take care of Wisconsin. Won't be easy, but I think they take care of it. We move on to one of the big games of the entire Saturday slate, the USC Trojans and Alabama Crimson Tide, number 1 ranked team in the nation, descend upon AT&T Stadium over there in Arlington by Gary. Alabama, I don't know who they still don't know who they want at QB. They still don't know who they want at running back. But I feel like I still got to give Alabama the edge here.
Yeah, Alabama has a lot of questions, but so does USC, really. I mean, they have a new quarterback as well. Their defense, front 7, is completely different. And I think Nick Saban is just going to tear them apart with all of the different weapons he can go to, no matter which one he decides to go with. I like Alabama pretty big here. It's actually my 8 in confidence.
I'm going with a 9. I believe in them that much. I really do, and I thought maybe I was kind of stretching a little bit, but As much as both teams have question marks, I just think you got to look at recruiting. You got to look at talent. And at the end of the day, coaching. And already in coaching, they've won the game. But, we could all be wrong here.
I got it as my 5. Not too confident because of the questions Alabama have. I think USC is a little bit better than people are giving them credit for. But still, Alabama's proven in these big games like this, they just come and maul you when it comes to that. Speaking of the other Southern California team taking on an SEC team, the UCLA Bruins and the Texas A&M Aggies. What you thinking?
I got UCLA in this game, and I'm currently trying to find out where I had them ranked. I don't remember where I had them. But, yeah, I'm going with the Aggies. I really feel like they're a team that actually, I'm lying. I'm not going with them. I'm going UCLA. Did I say Aggies? I thought I said the Aggies.
Gary went with the Aggies with Sacramento.
I know. That'd be depressing. I almost did, honestly. I almost did go with the Aggies, to be honest with you. And then I kind of started looking at things and players and stats. And, yeah, UCLA
it is in College Station.
Even though it is in College Station, and that is a difficult place to play. Trust me. And Randy, I don't know the stats and how many times UCLA's ever played on that field. It is a uncomfortable place to play. They make noise. They threaten you. It's basically like Seattle in Texas. This is the real 12th man. This is nothing like Seattle. Seattle wishes they were here. So saying all that, UCLA is still going to find a way to win.
Well, listen, I don't know how many times UCLA has gone down there, but this is their first meeting against Texas A&M since the 1998 Cotton Bowl. So if they've played a few times, it's been a very, very long time. But I love Josh Rosen. This is my darling of the Pac-12, and I think they can handle business even in a tough situation. Again, because of that tough situation, I'm a little hesitant, so it's my 2, but I like the Bruins in this game.
Yeah. By the way, I gave it a 5 on my confidence level.
I have them as my 4. I got UCLA winning too. It's going to be rough for A&M, and I think UCLA is one of those ready prime teams of the Pac-12. They're going to get it done here. You got BYU, one of these, it's an independent. They might be joining the Big 12. You never know. They are taking on Arizona.
I got BYU on this one. I really feel like that they can take care of business. I liked what they did last year, but how confident am I in them? I can't say I'm real confident. I got a 4 on them. I don't know, man. I just feel like the carryover could be what takes them there.
Yeah, I like BYU as well, just as a 3 for me. And Sean, I apologize if you had brought it up, but everything froze for me for about 20 seconds. But for BYU, Taysom Hill, 3 season-ending injuries in the last 4 years. Oh, can he stay healthy? If he can, I really like them. If not, we'll see if Magnum can make the magic. This was the team last year that drove us completely crazy with the confidence picks as they made crazy finish after crazy finish. So we will see how the Cougars do here. Again, not a lot of confidence on the road, but I will take the Cougars.
I also got them as my 3. Yeah, this is just... Hopefully, we're not having a million Hail Marys or anything like that.
Yeah.
No need for that. BYU, don't make us go through that again. And I think the only game we haven't talked about that's in our pick'em is the number 2 ranked Clemson Tigers taking on the Auburn Tigers. The battle of the Tigers here. Who you got?
I like the Tigers to win.
Nice.
What about you, Gary? What do you think?
I'm going Clemson here. Yeah, definitely, and with an 8 that's how confident I am. So, I mean, poor Auburn. I just don't think that they have much of a shot here.
Yeah, I don't care if this is at Auburn. I like Clemson as well. It's my 7 for me. Auburn's lost a ton on offense. Their defense is great, but I still don't think they're going to be able to stop Deshaun Watson. And again, that offense is so horrid. Auburn, maybe even the Clemson defense can show something.
So that's going to do it for our pick'em games.
You're taking Clemson as well, Sean, right?
Yes, I'm taking Clemson, yes.
Okay.
I have them as my 7. So
Okay. I figured, but just to make it official.
To make it officially official. So, Gary, your Texas Longhorns taking the Sunday lone game here against Notre Dame.
Boy, the lights are going to go on, and it is going to be a fun game to watch. I am super excited about this game, and I know I'm a Longhorns guy, but I think if this was another team that was, with the same name factor going against Notre Dame, I love it. I love the aspect. I love the whole thought process because the Longhorns are kind of underrated, I feel, at times. They've got so much talent that they've added to this roster. Charlie Strong has been building this team. How well is it built? We'll find out. Notre Dame, they've lost such a big amount of their talent. They've got some back in recruiting, but not to the talent level that they lost. And that's what makes me fear for them, that they could be walking in a situation where they may trip up a little bit here. I'm a little biased. I've got to go Longhorns, but I'm really curious what you guys have to say about this.
Well, I'm just going to throw some stats out there that I found on this game while doing some research. For one good point for Notre Dame, they've won the last 5 meetings, including a blowout last year. And Texas has not beaten Notre Dame since they won the national championship back on January 1st of 1970. So that's how long Notre Dame has dominated this series.
That means we're due.
Well, hold on. And you brought a good sign for Texas, however. As you said, Notre Dame has lost a lot of key players. 33 of the 40 touchdowns scored by Texas last year were by players returning this year. So I think Texas wins the edge as far as the experience goes. But we'll see if they can finally buck this trend. Texas has lost their last 11 games when their opponent scored first.
Wow.
So a lot of numbers going back and forth each way. It is at Texas. I'm with Gary as far as I really think they're a bit underrated. I do think that experience will play a factor as well, especially here in week 1. And I am as well going to take the Longhorns in this game.
Wow. See?
I don't want to be that person, so I'm going to take Texas too.
Oh, come on. If you don't feel right about it, pick Notre Dame. If you don't feel...
you know what? I'll go with Notre Dame.
I'm not talking you into it. I could kind of see it, and like we've been talking about here, Charlie Strong has worked with his team, but has he really proven anything yet? And he has not. And I'm not saying he's on the hot seat or anything, but I think people are going to be pointing to him a lot this year if he's going to have an unsuccessful season. And this is a big deal. This is a big deal for both teams because either team, I feel, could start to spiral with a loss. I know it's early in the season, but a big loss like this could definitely send psychologically a team into a different place without a victory.
Yeah, absolutely. But now we know why the state of Texas sent Sean to Florida.
Yeah, exactly. Said bye.
I'm an Arkansas guy, anyways. So the first game, technically, on Saturday is Boston College taking on Georgia Tech in Dublin, Ireland, guys, at 7:30 in the morning. Both teams 3-9 last season. I kind of got to go with the name value and go with Georgia Tech here.
Yeah, I like Georgia Tech as well here, but how great is it that what is being dubbed as the greatest opening weekend in college football history is opening with a game in Ireland at 7:30 a.m. Eastern. That means for me on the Pacific Coast, it starts at 4:30 in the morning. I don't get off of work. I don't get off of work until 2:30 that morning. So I might as well just go home and just start my day with college football. I'm excited. This reminds me of those early games that London will have for the NFL.
Yeah.
I have to work Saturday night as well. Screw it. I'm going to just stay up for 48 hours and watch college football and then pass out Sunday night.
Yeah.
That's just how things are going to go.
Let's see if someone can revive you. Yeah, this is a a situation where you're amazed at the time zones, the time changes, but it excites you so much you want to stay up and watch it live and be a part of this really cool experience. And I envy these college players so much. I mean, this is a great opportunity for them to travel, and it would be hard for me not to take Lucky Charms on the trip if it was me. So.
God. So the last game on that Monday game, Ole Miss taking on the Florida State Seminoles in the Camping World Stadium in Orlando, so pretty much a home game for Florida State.
And you missed it. This is your main event of the weekend.
Yeah, that's if the tropical storm doesn't take it out. But there's a state of emergency going on in Florida right now with this tropical storm thing. So it's possible. But yeah, this game should be, hopefully it's really good. I think Florida State's winning it, though.
I want to take the upset so bad here. They have the more veteran leadership at the quarterback position. But as you said, this is basically a home game for Florida State. I do think they have more talent all around. No, I can't do it. I'm going to take Florida State as well.
Yeah, see, I'm with you guys. I wanted to pick the upset, kind of like I wanted to pick Boston College. I had to go with Georgia Tech as well. So Florida State here, it's just not in me. I can't do it either. I got to pick Florida State.
All right, so let's do rapid fire stuff here. Colorado State and Colorado on Friday night.
Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado.
Colorado State for me. Kansas State against number 8 Stanford also on Friday night on FS1.
Stanford by 25.
Yeah, too easy, Stanford.
Stanford, for sure. Let's see, I think that pretty much does it for the Friday games of note. Anything else that we need to cover? Oh, Ohio State and Bowling Green.
Bowling Green, says Gary.
Yeah. You read my mind. How did you read it, man? Good God. They got a great band over there, man. You need to go check them out. It's definitely not going to be Bowling Green. Let's just say it that way. Ohio State, easy victory.
Ohio State. Northwestern and Western Michigan. Watch out for Western Michigan, guys. They're one of those prides of the MAC.
Now we talk about Northwestern, all hyped up. They have a starting quarterback in the NFL for the first time in forever. I'm taking Northwestern.
Oh, you know what? For fun, I'll Western Michigan.
I'll take a Western Michigan too. Let's see. What else? Iowa and Miami of Ohio.
Yeesh. I'm going to take Iowa.
Yeah, I'm with you, Iowa.
Yeah, at home, better team.
Take Iowa as well. North Texas and SMU, Gary.
Oh, boy, I would love to pick my alma mater, but I'm going SMU.
You know what? Hell, I'll pick North Texas. Probably lose, but whatever.
I got a new head coach over there. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll take SMU.
When do they not have a new head coach over there?
It's about every other weekend they decide. I'm up in a couple weeks, so I may not be on the podcast. I'll be coaching, but I'll be back after that anyway.
Florida
Give it a
and
go.
UMass.
Oh, Florida.
Yeah, Florida for sure.
Washington State and Eastern Washington.
It doesn't show it on the thing I'm looking at, but whatever the over is, take the over. Two ridiculous offenses. I'll say from a guy from the Northwest who lives 40 minutes away from Washington State, one of my best friends went to Eastern Washington, so he makes me at work on Saturdays not be able to watch some of the key college games, but I have to watch the ugliest red field you've ever seen in your life on standard definition because he has to watch his Eagles play. All you have to do is ask him. Eastern Washington can put up 70 points and lose. That's just how they're built. And Washington State has one of the best quarterbacks in it. So whatever the over-under is, Washington State's probably going to win. Take the over.
Yeah, I'll go Washington State.
Washington State as well, but watch out for that upset, seriously. Nebraska and Fresno State.
Nebraska.
Yeah, Nebraska. Sorry, I'm trying to look this over-under thing now.
Nebraska. Iowa State and Northern Iowa.
Iowa State.
Yes.
And San Jose State and Tulsa.
Ooh, I have no idea.
Now.
Yeah, I have no idea. This is the best analysis you're going to get from me on this one. I'll say San Jose.
It's in Tulsa, so
it is in Tulsa. Who cares?
Yeah.
I'll go with. I better call Saul, and I'll go San Jose.
I'll take the other team that Gary didn't take.
He take Tulsa.
I'll take Tulsa as well. Last one, Kentucky and Southern Mississippi.
Fried chicken. Should I go with it? I don't know. I'll go Kentucky. Why not? They deserve a win.
Yeah, Kentucky as well.
Kentucky's supposed to be one of the good teams this year, and then SEC is doing it. So I'll take Kentucky as well. So there you go. Week 1 preview for college football. Hope you enjoyed it. We will be back on Tuesday morning with a college week 1 recap, and also have our have a separate podcast with our NFL power rankings, preseason power rankings. Now the preseason is over, and then we'll be talking about freaking NFL football the next time after that. Can you believe it? It's crazy.
Time.
But yeah, it's about damn time. So, for check out everything on the W2M network, and also on that Tuesday morning we'll have a big announcement to make that relates to this podcast and all the podcasts on the W2M network. So, you need to make sure that you listen in for that, and of course check out.
Sorry, I'm going to spoil the big announcement. Gary would like to announce that Dak Prescott for president.
Oh, yes. We're working on that currently. Both presidential candidates suck, so we're adding our own candidate. So just to let you know.
Dak Prescott.
I couldn't hold it in anymore. We couldn't wait to Tuesday to make the big announcement.
That's okay.
No, the announcement's awesome. I'm super excited for Tuesday when we can reveal the announcement that we kind of have revealed on the fantasy podcast already, but that's okay.
We revealed it once on the wrestling podcast, and then I shut up about it. So make sure you check out for that, and of course check out the fantasy football podcast. It comes out 2 times a week, along with this podcast coming out 2 times a week. So if you everybody's drafting right now. I got 2 drafts tomorrow. I got a draft on Sunday. Two. I got one on Monday, one on Tuesday. So. And then the one for this draft, or for this league, if you're in this league and you're listening, it's on Tuesday at 8 o'clock. So, and if you're one of those wrestling fans, it's during SmackDown. So, if that helps you. So, make sure you're in there for the draft, and good luck to everybody drafting. Make sure you listen to Randy and Mike talk about everything, so you get all your tips about what you need to be doing. I know, Randy, you had a draft today. So you were psyched about it?
I had a draft. My girlfriend did her first ever draft, but unfortunately it was run by Mickey Mouse, and those rules are absolutely insane. Like, defenses points are completely bolstered. There's 5 individual defensive players. She took over a team. It's a work league. But she took over a spot for somebody who traded away their 2nd and 5th picks. So she had the 12th pick, and her 2nd pick wasn't until pick 40. And then she had like 5 picks in the middle of like the 11th and 12th rounds. So I did my best to help her, and I think we made a decent enough team. But with those rules, I was making things up as I went. But Yahoo liked it. Yahoo said she was projected to go 11-2 and finish 3rd. So we're happy with it.
Wow,
that's great.
Well, let's hope that she does.
Yeah, hopefully so, and hopefully she pays attention to it. My wife wanted to do a league one year, and I was the owner, basically. So we needed that experiment.
Well, there you go. Until Tuesday morning, we shall see you later, folks.